Hello. Many of my clients ask me usually how they can end this feeling of overwhelm they experience in their lives and how they can get more present within themselves, be present more in the moment. I have done other posts on overwhelm. If you haven't listened to those, it may be useful for you to listen to some of those before you listen to this. But I'm going to address this question specifically in this post because I think there is some validity to us all feeling overwhelmed, right? So the reason overwhelm happens is because our attention is very divided and taken away from things that matter the most to us. We as human beings have a certain set of core values. Every human being has a unique set of core values. If we step out of these core values and start to do things that are not important to us, then we're going to be hit with a sense of overwhelm or boredom in our life. And in order to move through either of these situations, whether it's overwhelm or boredom, you're going to have to get crystal clear on what your core values are. Once you anchor in your core values, it should be pretty obvious to you where you continue to spend time on things that are not in your core values. So let me give you a concrete example on this. If you have a very high value on spending time with your kids, then you have to somehow take out things in your life that are less valuable and set up an environment where you can spend more time with your kids. If you continue to do everything else, for example, like running your chores, being at work 12 hours or 10 hours and not prioritizing your kids, then you're going to feel a sense of disconnection from not living in that top core value. So the point is, without you being clear on what your core values are, you're not going to know what to deprioritize in your life and what to prioritize in your life. So the first step is for you to get crystal clear on your core values. And once that's clear, then you can start to take the steps to reprioritize your life so that you don't feel a sense of overwhelm in your life. Not always easy because of when you get a lot of times what I've seen with my clients is they'll tell me this is important, but when I go through the exercise of really asking them the questions that I use to determine their core values, we end up finding out that that's not where their core values were. They've just told themselves where their core values are, and that's not a clear sense of what is most important to them. So this exercise is very useful for you to actually get crystal clear. You might have already done something similar and you already are very clear on your core values. And if you are, then the next step of that piece would be for you to actually spend time to figure out how to start living in your core values and how to spend less time on what's not as important to you. So that takes mindset adjustment. I will tell you that if you have a core value of making a lot of money and you are not in a job that supports that, then your mindset has to shift. So you can put yourself in a job that supports that. You may have a feeling that you're not qualified to get the second job. You may be strapped because you don't understand how to get to that next level. It doesn't matter. But your mindset needs to shift around money so that you can step into that next level. Okay, so what you want to do as a valuable exercise is to identify your core values and then identify all the areas where you're not living in your core values. And when you look at this gap, now you have to make a plan to start living in your core values. Now, once you start doing this, you'll start to find out, you'll start to become more specific about how you want to spend your time. When you spend your time more in alignment with your core values, you will start to lose your sense of boredom or your sense of exhaustion or overwhelm pretty quickly. Okay? Now, if you haven't taken my assessment, it's actually a scorecard. My marketing guy keeps reminding me that it's a scorecard and not an assessment. Anyway, if you haven't taken the scorecard, it's a free scorecard. Please take it. It's very valuable. The first time I started to do this exercise, my eyes opened wide to how I was not living in my set of core values and how that was actually impacting my life adversely and leading to a lot of stress, anxiety, boredom, and overwhelm sometimes. So there were periods where I felt like really bored with my life. And then there were periods where I felt exhausted because I was running myself silly trying to fill my time. And then there were times when I just felt anxious because I wasn't where I wanted to be in life, doing the things I loved. So I've gone through all of those phases. And that's what actually inspired me to create this scorecard so that other people did not have to go through all of these crazy hoops in order to find it. Find what their areas of life are that they're not living in their highest values. This part of the exercise used to actually be part of my paid offering, but I have now made it available to the public at large. So you are going to find this very valuable and useful. It goes pretty in-depth, but it doesn't take a lot of time for you to complete. So do that exercise. And if you have a comment or question, post it below, and I'm happy to jump on it and answer it as quickly as I can. Okay? Have a good day, and I hope that this was useful to you in ending your sense of overwhelm.